Thank you for joining me as we take a look at this Sunday's introit. This is from Psalm 105. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the peoples. Sing to him, sing praises to him, tell of all his wondrous works, glory in his holy name. Let the hearts of those who seek the Lord rejoice. Seek the Lord and his strength, seek his presence continually. Remember the wondrous works that he has done, his miracles, and the judgments he uttered. O offspring of Abraham, his servant, children of Jacob, his chosen ones. Now, I don't know if you have ever spent some time and taken inventory of your life, especially the times in your life where you could clearly see the hand of God and his work. And I ask that because I find that it can sometimes be hard to identify the work of God in our lives. I more easily remember the difficult and challenging times in my life than I remember the times when God intervened on my behalf. I still remember some of the challenging classes I had in school and the difficulty of studying for the tests. I can easily recall the time I snapped my wrist in two. I can remember difficult times and even recall feelings that I had during those times. But I find that it is much harder to remember the work of God and what he has done in my life. And why do you think that is? Why do we have to be intentional in our recollection of God and his work in our lives? Intentionality, I believe, is a good thing, even if it can be a little challenging. Spending some time training for premarital counseling, I discovered that intentionality is something that factors pretty heavily into a relationship. One common trope of relationships, especially the marital relationship, is the advice to find something that both people like to do. However, people are not always wired to find satisfaction, especially the satisfaction they need in the same activity. And in that case, there has to be an intentional act of one person doing something that they would not gravitate towards, at least normally, and doing that for the sake of the other. Intentional acts can show commitment and the desire to do what is necessary in order to strengthen the relationship. And as I think about it, what are some of the intentional things we can do in our relationship with God? Now, this introit, it's filled with actions. Give thanks to the Lord. Make known his deeds. Seek the Lord. Remember the wondrous works he has done. And if we are honest, most, if not all, of these actions take intentionality. Can you recall a time when the Lord has worked a wondrous deed in your life? When was the last time that you've given thanks to God? When was the last time you told others of the works that he has done? All of those actions take intentionality. All of those actions require us to speak. And there are a few steps that we can take as we prepare to speak. Take some time to identify those instances in your lives where God worked on your behalf. And perhaps it was something great and wonderful, like a surprise healing of an illness. Or sometimes we might not think that it was a big deal at all, like receiving some unplanned money only to later have an unplanned expense that was nearly the same amount. What has God done in your life that you can recall? And this recollection of actions from God is not just contained in us and our lives, but also it expands to the history of the world and the church. Taking time to intentionally learn about God's mighty and wondrous deeds helps us speak about it to others. And in that preparation, we are reminded of the great actions of God and the mercy and love that he has for all of mankind. Thank you for joining me.